Coach Smart, you just talked about him a little bit. He was on Tim and Sid last week. I have a couple of clips from when he was on. I love this. I absolutely love this. This is Coach Smart on Tim and Sid being asked why he has been able to be so dominant at Carleton.
We have you penciled in as the Monday we talk to Coach Smart after a victory. Right. It's on the calendar. It's like a holiday. That's actually there.
If I lived in Toronto, would you have me on like twice a year maybe?
No.
No.
I just had to fire back because I know we're going to get ripped in this 7-minute segment.
I heard your voice way too much. Why did they put you beside my bench?
Yeah, I know.
They've got 2 benches and they put you beside my bench. I have to hear your comments and I got to stay concentrated on the game. It's ridiculous.
Was there any point where I said something that you completely disagreed with and thought, I'm going to step away from this game for 2 seconds and tell him he's dead wrong?
I turned 3 times in 2 games to my assistant and said, could you get him to shut up?
I think that's awesome. Because he's a guy, Scott and you and I talked about it. Not a big fan of scrums, but man, is he good on radio.
He's good on radio. I think when he's a little bit looser, obviously it's nice because he just won. But at halftime of the game, he's like, oh yeah, they're absolutely killing Ottawa at this point in the final. And he's like, they're the best team in the country. Ottawa had just looked like completely terrible for the past 4 games, and they looked bad in that half. And he's like, they're the best team in the country. We just got to do blah, blah, blah. And then so to see him be loose and also just an actual rip into Sportsnet when he was like, I have this thing called a cell phone. Like, you guys can call me.
I'm the most successful coach in CIS men's basketball history. You can call any time.
Yeah. He's like, feel free. We like your show. But I mean, he's not wrong.
No, I know. That's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. So that was him talking about that. This is a bit of a longer clip. This is him talking about why they were so dominant in 2015. And I think this might be the secret to why he was so loose on Monday, because I've listened to this Monday morning after he wins a national championship interview with Coach Smart on Tim and Sid for the last couple of years. And this is like the golden rule is catch him in the 72-hour period after he wins a championship.
Yeah.
Because that's when he is actually willing to talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
What does Dave Smart see that no one else does?
Well, I don't think, I mean, honestly, I don't, there's nothing that I do that's really special at all. We work hard. We work really hard. I mean, my assistants are really good and they give me an awful lot of good ideas, but, I mean, it just comes down to.
It can't just be hard work, can it? Like, honestly.
You've talked to me. I'm not that smart. I mean,
you are exactly. That's exactly who you are. You are smart. You are Coach Dave Smart. But no, but listen. But Tim's point is, like 11 wins in 13 years. Don't tell me it's because of layup drills. Like, what's going on up there, Coach? Let's talk here.
What do you want from me? I do my best to prepare our guys. I mean, I panic. I probably panic longer than everybody else. I start panicking today for next year. And because of that, panic tends to lead to hard work. And the only time I feel comfortable is if I feel like we're prepared, and it takes a lot for me to feel like we're prepared. So, I mean, our guys work hard, and the one thing I do think that we do well is, in all joking aside, is we work very hard at our culture. We work very hard at trying to have the guys own the team. And, sometimes that's tough because, you have a group of 15 guys, and even if you can get 10 guys to buy into the same culture, and this year's team, they did that, but there's always guys who don't like the culture. And, it's funny because you have one guy who doesn't, and it almost precludes 3 guys that do, because they can make it seem like the way the guys are pushing each other is not the right way. But this group, in general, I'm not going to say everybody bought in, because everybody doesn't, and never do you have everybody bought in. But even the guys who didn't buy in, they put up, not with me, it's really the leaders on the team. They dealt with the culture of the team and didn't hold anybody back. And in a lot of ways, that's as good for a team as being that guy, because when you don't really see it and don't see the culture, and you still are willing to buy in for the betterment of the team, even if it's not for you. I mean, I don't think there's many guys that it's not for in this group, but there's probably a couple, and you didn't see it. They bought in. And I think we do a pretty good job of getting the culture where it needs to be. And this year, Victor Razzo and Gavin Rush as our main leaders, and then the scrubs as unbelievable follower, like backup leaders and incredible talents on top of that, made it a special year.
Yeah, I think that Dave Smart talks a lot there, and he says what might fall into the coach speak category, but it's really what he's saying about culture is really true. I can speak as someone who's followed teams but not been on the inside, but he says, okay, so yeah, we have guys who really bought in this year. You see, like, buy-in is real. It's not just something that we talk about. Buy-in's real. You can back me up on that.
Yeah, 100%.
But so he says this, and he has a couple. I think his name's Brody Miracle. He's leaving the program to go to Ottawa. So he says, I mean, not everyone's going to buy in, but when you get the people who buy in, when you get the majority of your roster and your leaders buying in, what your team wants to do is possible. You have trust in each other. People understand and are willing to do their roles, which is, I mean, that's probably the most difficult part of the Carleton basketball program, is getting these guys to buy into their roles, because these guys were stars. These guys were stars at other CIS schools, and now they're coming here, and they're here to win championships. But that's the advantage Carleton has, which is probably the thing he doesn't say, or probably the thing he wouldn't publicly admit, is that when you have 10 and 12 and then 11 and 13, it's not hard to tell someone to buy in, because you take your gloves off and one of your shoes, you say count the rings.
I can't hear what every other team is saying because I had my rings jammed in my ears. That's pretty much the speech you give to your team at the start of every training camp. Like, hey, new guy. Clang.
When I tell you something, what are you here for?
You smash your handfuls of rings against yourself and just say, this is what you get if you buy in. And that's how they're able to do it. So, the other takeaway that I take from this is Coach Smart just getting angry at Sid for saying, what the hell? Obviously, it's not just layup lines.
What the hell do you want from me?
The hell do you want from me?
Yeah. I can't emphasize how good of an interview this was to hear. Yeah. Because I listened to Tim and Sid quite a bit lately too.
And it's only a 7-minute interview, and the amount that he got into in like 6 minutes of actual content.
Yeah. Yeah. Relative to what a
15-minute scrum with him versus a 6-minute radio, you got twice as much in a 6-minute radio interview.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool, because again, it's not like he tries to hide anything. Like it's just who he is. He's bored with the media. He's tired. He probably gets asked the same question 10,000 times.
He does get asked poor quality questions. We saw them, yeah.
So when you're asked that many times, you're obviously going to tune out and just not care much. But he is a basketball mind that people like you and I would love to just explore and find.
Just sit down with.
Because he's so
I've had the opportunity to sit down with quite a few very smart people, and that's a good conversation if you ask the right questions.
Yeah, he's so genuinely smart. People just want to know what's going on inside his brain.